Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm Dr. Ruth Anderson, and today is day 26 of the Enlightened Women, Enlightened You Summit. It's hard to believe we're already at day 26 of this 31-day event, but I want to make sure that you all realize that there are 5 more videos coming, and they really are all worthy of being seen and worthy of you taking into your heart. So stay with us. And I do believe that there will be some activities for us as a group after this summit is completely aired. So just hang in there with us. So today I am very pleased to introduce you to Monica Augustine. And Monica, why don't you come on here and just say hi?
Hi, everybody. It's wonderful to be here.
We're so glad you're here, Monica.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
And Deb Goldberg is going to start us off today with our intention for the day. So Deb, why don't you take it?
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here with us. Let's close our eyes for a moment and take a really deep breath. Our intention today is to create a sacred space for healing and forgiveness. We ask Jesus, the Mother, Father, and the angels to prepare a circle of light and love to catch all tears that need to be shed, feelings that need to be felt, and forgiveness that needs to be embraced in order to cleanse our mind-body and remember the truth, purity, and perfection of our soul. This is from Jesus. Your journey here can be complicated, especially if it is filled with traumatic events. If I told you that life is just an illusion and everything you experience has just been a story that you could never be harmed, would that erase beliefs you accumulated about yourself? It can be a start. I am here to help you heal and let go of your story, for I am one with you. Allow the Christ mind in you to rise up and move towards your divine calling, knowing that the Father is always awakening you to your perfection along your journey. I understand the trials of this life as I have walked them myself. I understand what it takes to believe in the truth and goodness of God and not absorb the lies of the ego or to allow wounds to keep perpetrating you. You have love surrounding you always, waiting to help you heal and forgive yourself and others so you can move forward. All you need to do is ask and receive the bliss of knowing you are an eternal being with God living through you as you. Amen.
Wow. Deb, I have to tell you, and I know that was channeled to you this morning from Christ. And as I was listening to it, I just got this, excuse me, expanse of divine white light. And as I'm saying that, I'm getting goosebumps. So thank you, both of you, for that beautiful, beautiful intention this morning.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Wow. Okay, so with that, I'm going to get ready for Monica's video, and here we go. I'm Dr. Ruth Anderson, here with Enlightened World Network. Welcome to this episode of Enlightened Women. Grab a cup of coffee or your favorite beverage and join us. Enlightened Women is a show about women who are consciously awake and choosing to fully embrace life. These are real women living real lives while walking in spirit. Sometimes our life experiences require a great deal of healing and forgiveness in order for us to truly stand in our own light and strength. Our guest, Monica Augustine, lived through years of abuse on an emotional and sexual basis. Monica is here to share with us that there is hope and possibility of moving forward, no matter what your life experiences may be. Monica assists others as an intuitive reader, a Reiki master teacher, and life coach. It is my honor to introduce you to Monica Augustine. Monica, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Ruth.
My pleasure. Monica, when somebody has impacted your life in an unimaginable way, how important is forgiveness for your own ability to move forward?
Well, forgiveness has been imperative. It's an imperative skill and ability. And it comes in stages. I've learned that forgiveness, because none of us want to, at least I didn't want to feel angry. Nobody wants to feel angry. I don't think so. At least in my experience, I didn't. And especially as a child, you don't want to feel angry at the people who did that. You want to have fun. You want to be a kid. You just want to enjoy life. But it's a natural thing and a healthy thing to acknowledge is anger at feeling violated, being violated, not treated fairly, and really wounded. Those types of abuses and experiences can wound somebody for their entire life. And if you're not conscious and you want to make a difference in the world and your life and be a positive contributor, you can really stay stuck in it. So forgiveness has just been monumental. It's just mandatory, I think, to learn how to do it and to muster up the courage. Really, it takes courage to forgive. There's a certain element of courage.
So you talked about forgiveness as a skill. And when I think about a skill, there's usually levels of mastery of that skill.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about forgiveness, could you see different aspects of forgiveness where you were getting better and better at being able to forgive?
Yeah, that's an amazing question. It does take me back a little bit because I'm not back there now in that place, but there's always opportunities to forgive in our day-to-day lives, right? Like even just relatively a lot smaller ways, but still they can be hard, if you feel disrespected or treated unfairly. But yeah, ways that I learned that I can recall right now are, let me give you an example. I found sometimes that I wanted to hang on to my anger because I felt entitled to it. But I learned as I grew up and matured, got older, that entitlement wasn't really serving me, and it definitely wasn't serving anybody else. I wanted to hold on to the entitlement because I was so angry, and I started learning through prayer, meditation, and really a lot of asking grace of God, in my belief of just how to do this, because part of me didn't want to do it. I wanted to be mad at them forever and just be like, not really want to, but a part of me did because it was so hurt, and blame them. Like, what were you thinking? The way it started was it kind of like stages of grief. There's stages of forgiveness I've learned. I started to feel, even as a kid, like a young girl at 10 years old, I remember thinking, having a higher self that I was connected to. But I was also really connected to my human self and my child self. So I kind of went between the two frequently. And I was like, what is that self? The one that just is like all understanding and like, wow. And then there's this other self that wants to play and is mad that I don't feel easygoing like some of the rest of the kids because of all this yuck, So I remember thinking, I need to learn to connect to this higher part of me. I remember being like really mad, but then I also saw that other person as, in my opinion, as a child of God and a child of love. And that is not okay to ever do to anyone. That I'm not giving anyone the idea that it's okay. It's not okay. And it really hurts children and others. But there was a part of me that said, this person is hurt too. So I started learning compassion, perspective, And I think I started gaining perspective, Ruth, even as a young girl, of happy people that feel good about themselves and feel loved don't hurt other people. So I was very aware that these people hurting me were very hurt. So I started to pray and ask to learn how to have compassion, strength, courage, and learn how to forgive. So to me, the compassion and perspective and a higher self perspective was what helped me, I think, learn how to do that. But it definitely, for anyone listening, it wasn't overnight like I would have hoped it would have been. But the time it took, like, I think now I have forgiven everyone, even up to, like, say 6 years ago. I thought, oh, I'm so free. I felt free. But then, like, a year later, I found myself in kind of like a rage of anger and just like, what were you guys thinking? So anyway, what I think I'm trying to say, Ruth, is the time it takes, for me anyway, felt like it was important, because it gave me a lot of wisdom and compassion.
It seems to me, Monica, that when we've been through something that's incredibly hurtful, that there's layers of impact to us. And we sort of start on the outside, and through healing, whether it's through therapy or conversations or, crying or prayer or whatever, we kind of heal the outer layer. And then with a little time, we get exposed to the next layer of hurt, which is deeper and requires other strategies to get in there. So it feels kind of like a spiral, and how we heal and then rest and then heal and rest and heal and rest. And eventually, perhaps actually get to that inner core that is needing healing as well. So I agree. It's not just an overnight thing, as much as you might wish.
Mm-hmm.
It takes time in getting to know yourself,
Mm-hmm.
as well as perhaps in your case, a higher self and connection to spirit, in order for the full healing to take place.
Mm-hmm. It's very true. Very, very layered. Yeah, very layered. And it's a phenomenal experience to go through all those layers and find yourself. Just so many lessons that I've learned through forgiveness and compassion. It's a spiral for sure, an onion.
Monica, can you talk about the importance of not staying stuck in the hurt? So one of my dear friends went through a divorce, not under her own volition. She wasn't asking for it, wasn't wanting it, and effectively lost her daughter half-time. Mm-hmm. And the anger of that just permeated her life, and she was unable for several years to move on, and just stayed stuck in that anger. Mm-hmm. How important is it to not stay stuck?
Mm. It's very important. It is the most important thing. However, it's hard. It's simple, but it's difficult. Like, it's simple, but in the moment when you feel all that, I understand what your friend feels, I would imagine. But how important is it to not stay stuck? It's very important, Ruth. And we think, I've done it too, for sure, many, many times, but we think on some level of our, I don't know what you would call it, but psyche or whatever, that it's helping us by hanging on to it, and we're getting some kind of, not that we really logically seek revenge, because it's not like we're thinking I'm seeking revenge, but a part of our inside are just so hurt and wounded, we feel like that's how we can feel stronger, is holding on to it. But really, when we really look at the elements of what makes up that holding on, it makes us so much weaker. Holding on to anger and not forgiving someone or ourselves, it just keeps us small. It keeps our vibration low, kind of attracts more and more of that kind of thing, and of that you're holding on to. I have noticed in my life, not now, but I noticed it would attract that to me, that anger, people that were also angry like that. And it brings that to us. So it doesn't really do us any service. And until you can feel that, and it's palpable, and it's an experience, and it's not just like in our head, that's when things really change. I would meditate a lot about it. When I was angry and hurt, I would really go into meditation, Ruth. And if people don't meditate, that's fine too. But even just going into the feeling and not being afraid of it, and just asking, like, how do I get better? How can I do this? And you can see that, I don't know, it's different for everyone, but it's that holding on keeps us tied to that person. Letting go connects us to all the beautiful things in the world that we want. It's just like foolproof. Right when you do it, I notice it right away. When I'm holding on to something, I'm sad, I feel a little depressed, but right when I say, oh my, I notice it. Sometimes too, Ruth, we don't even notice we're doing it because it's become a habit. And just for people out there, I get it for sure, but it's not doing you any good, and it's not giving you any strength. It might feel strong because you can be lash out, and that sometimes can feel strong, like get mad at someone or upset. I guess there's a certain kind of strength, but it's not the kind of strength that we need to evolve and have the life that we're dreaming of.
I think, Monica, too, when I am closed off and stuck in my anger or my jealousy or my grief, whatever it is, I'm not open to the possibilities.
Right. So true. Oh, there's just so many possibilities, and so many wonderful ones. And we all can do it, even just with smaller things, Ruth, not even like the childhood abuse, which took years to heal from. But even just little things, like if you have a friend or I have a friend and say I felt disrespected, that'll kick in old stuff. I try to go to that perspective. First, I like to try to talk to that person if they're a close friend, because they might not even have known they've done it. Like we also, another point, Ruth, is I think, at least for me, sometimes I'll assume they knew what they were doing, but most times they have no idea because they're just living in their own world. So communication is so important too, to forgiveness.
So, Monica, can you share some of the techniques or tools that you used that you found to be really helpful in your connecting to spirit, connecting to your higher self, and moving on?
Yeah, I'll have to take myself back a little just to remember, and I guess I use them now. And some that seem just more simple are, I would really find skills to focus on the present moment and let go of identifying myself with the past. Letting go of identifying myself with the past, with beliefs about who I was and my self-worth, self-confidence. I began to do things that actually build up my confidence and my self-worth, activities that build up a certain part of you, like more of your personality. But when you're really beaten down, you have to start somewhere. My experience, I started doing things I love to do. I started singing, learning to play instruments. I started doing gymnastics. I started just doing bunches of things that I really enjoyed that gave me a sense of there's more to life than that. Like that was a story. Those were experiences, but I'm more than that. And as I got older, I just started saying, okay, I've got to start to build up my confidence, my self-esteem. I needed to learn to reach out to get healthier. So meditating and even affirmations, positive affirmations at that time, just for new thoughts. new thoughts to get the mind on a different track. Because when we're abused, sexually, physically, emotionally, at all, but definitely if it's a long period of time, our brains are pretty much, and especially if you're young, but it doesn't even matter. Even women and men that are in any kind of abusive situation, at any age, your mind, there's a reason there's a certain level of self-esteem that, when you're a kid, it's different. When you grow up, you have to be like, I don't do that anymore. I don't tolerate that. So affirmations, activities, wonderful groups, positive people, those are really good first steps. Those are ways I remember starting and getting going, and my connection to my faith in God, that there must be a reason for this. Not that it's okay, but I always look for the silver lining. Even though I was angry at the same time, I still look for a silver lining. Okay, well, this can definitely make me a more compassionate person. And that's a wonderful skill in life to have. So those kind of things I started with. And then letting go of identifying with your beliefs, thoughts, and feelings as the truth is a wonderful place to start, because that's what keeps us all perpetuating those types of things. If we really look at our thoughts and watch them like a movie and just observe them when we're in those types of compromised states, we'll see the thoughts. For me, they were, I'm nothing, I'm worthless, I'm not as good as other people, I'm not as important as other people, I deserve this, I must have done something wrong, but it's not logical. So then I started getting older, and learned, it took a long time, but I started realizing, I started at least doubting them. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. Other people are telling me different things, like, you're so nice and smart and athletic, and I'm like, that's weird. That doesn't go along with this. But then it's important for us to find our own. We can't depend on other people to tell us that. But it definitely helps at first. When all you know is that and you're surrounded by that, there's anybody else that says something different that's positive, you're like, oh my gosh, what was that? I want more of that. So those are ways to at least start, Ruth. And then it started to become more, I didn't just need the confidence for my own self or ego part of me or personality part. Then I wanted to evolve that and just know my place in the spiritual realm of life. And like you said, with anger and forgiving, it's again a layered thing. It's a spiral up. You think, oh wow, I've gotten to this place, but then life and God, or however you believe, says there's more. There's more than this, just this, but to acknowledge and appreciate wherever you are on the path of growth and healing is so important, wherever you are, because we got to start somewhere, especially if you're digging yourself out from the trenches. You've got to be like, that's an improvement. I'll take that. And even if you're surrounded by people that seems like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get there. You will. You just got to surround yourself with people that, friends, family, even like coaches or mentors, spiritual teachers that are like, you're doing great. It's just step by step. And you just keep evolving, and you start seeing so much beauty in your life that you're just like, oh my gosh, something must be changing in here and here for all this to be my reflection. Does that help, Ruth?
I believe it's going to help people a lot.
Oh, good. Yeah, I have to kind of go back and remember a little bit, because it's, it's back there for me. But I do remember, and even in even in my life now, I still have to, if I have a day that went off track a little, or just felt like, I'm a little in that victim. Yeah, I can go there in that victim mentality. The people that have been abused, and we can often go there like, poor me. I definitely have been very good at that. And that takes getting out of that too. Is you got to pull yourself out of that and just focus on the present, focus on where you want to go, what you want to grow, and make little steps to get there. Like, where do I want to be? What do I want to experience in my life and in my family's life, in my community? And what do I want to give back, contribute? And how am I going to get there? And just make little goals for yourself every day. I do that every day. And if I don't get to all of them, I'm like, well, that's fine. But just even a tiny little improvement in where you want to be in your life, whether it's debt or victim mentality or more connection to God, love, a good new community of friends, just like, what do I need to do? Action steps are really mandatory, because it's easy to think it and spin it, but until you do something about it, nothing's going to happen. So baby steps. I'm a big fan of baby steps.
That's great. Thank you so much for that. Monica, I know that you are an incredible intuitive healer and Reiki teacher.
Thank you.
I know that from experience.
Thank you.
You have enveloped all of these skills and techniques that you've been through. You've embraced your past, brought it into your future, and you have turned all of that into being an amazing person to help other people that have gone through difficult life experiences. And your gift at the Reiki table with your guides, with the angels, is a beautiful gift for others. Do you want to share a little bit about the work that you do through Reiki and with the angels and your guides?
Sure, I'd love to. And thank you for those nice words. I appreciate it. Yeah, Reiki just came into my life through my husband, Kevin. He was my teacher. He's like, do you want to learn Reiki? And I was just, yes, like right away. Reiki is, for those of you who don't know about Reiki, it's a spiritually guided energy. And it's actually a Japanese technique for healing and rejuvenation. And it's a healing art modality. For me, it really changed my life. When I was attuned to Reiki energy, which I also feel very connected to Jesus as well, and there's a very similar energy to them, to me. But what I realized, I felt like I got my life back in a way. When I got my first attunement, the energy was so high and powerful and pure that when it came into my energy field, all these energies, which in Reiki we call spiritual attachments or entities, I felt like I saw hundreds of them leave me, like, whew, we want out of here. We can't live in this vibration anymore. And I just, in my mind's eye, Ruth, I just saw tons of them leave. And it did take a couple of months for me to kind of find a new equilibrium. But once I did, and even in that moment, I felt like, oh my gosh, I had a sense of who I was as a soul and who I was as an essence. And I wanted that for everybody that was interested in learning. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I've been doing it now for about 4.5, almost 5 years. It's my intuitive life coaching work. And I just want to share it. I want to pass it along. I want other people that have any kind of struggles. It doesn't matter. I don't see any of them as higher or lower, or harder or less, because they're all relative to the personality. Because, everyone's personality makeup reacts to the same types of things, totally different. So I've learned that I just want freedom for everybody. I want them to find their true self. I want them to find their joy, their bliss, that feeling of liberation. And it's not a constant state. Maybe it can be, but I'm not there yet constantly. But a lot of the time now, I love the work, Ruth. I love Reiki. I love intuitive reading, tuning into higher self, divine love. Like I always ask, what is most important for this client today? What is going to help them? And then I just tune into the answers and I relay them to the person. Like you do too, Ruth. You're a wonderful healer as well, and intuitive and connected. And I do intuitive life coaching, Reiki. I teach Reiki and give sessions. And on physical things that we support with, physical health, and also a lot of mental, emotional, since that's been my big struggle, I'd say. Mental, emotional, freedom, liberation, new thought, having Reiki come in and just work its magic on people. So I just love it.
I can verify the Reiki work is truly life-changing.
Yeah.
If somebody has not experienced Reiki, go to someone who is well-trained in Reiki, and it honestly can be life-changing.
It really is. It's amazing. And you know, it does take time. I remember it takes time to integrate the energy field into your energy field, your thoughts, your mind. It has changed my thoughts, my mind, my heart. And I'm so grateful. I'm constantly grateful for it. And some people might that don't know, it's not a religion, and it's a spiritual practice or a healing modality. For me, it's a spiritual practice and a healing modality. Anyone of any religion is welcome, and it works with any religion, any belief. Very loving, compassionate, acting force. So it's beautiful. Yeah, it's amazing.
And Reiki can do no harm. So there's
Yeah.
nothing to be afraid of
This
the
is true. Yeah, this is true. Very true. And sometimes I've noticed in myself and in some clients that the less resistance you have, the easier. Because if the Reiki's working with you, just like God, love, divine love, and you're resisting it, it can feel like there's like polar opposites. But as long as you have that trust in it and trust that it's goodness, it's light, it's pure energy, it's definitely going to go in there and wake up some stuff. So that can be uncomfortable, but it's not harmful. Yeah, but it can be uncomfortable at times. At least I've experienced that. And I'm like, oh, okay. Got to break out of that mold.
So what does that mean, uncomfortable? Physically painful or just emotionally stretching? What do you mean by that?
For me, it was emotionally stretchy, like what you said, mentally, emotionally asking you to let go of your attachment, kind of like that. What I mean by uncomfortable. Letting go of limiting beliefs and things that keep us stagnant, keep us stuck. So when Reiki comes in and starts working the magic, it definitely requires you to stretch and trust and let go. And it's beautiful. But for me, I had to really let go, because I was very uncomfortable and probably a little scared at first. It was a new level of letting go that was a little scary. But I have learned that it's beautiful there to let go. Trust that versus my own little self, that part of me that thinks, oh, I know the answer.
Well, and Reiki can be done long distance. You don't have to be in the same room with a practitioner.
I've just begun to do a few of my clients, but I have clients now in different countries and a lot of different states. And this one client that has been coming now every week or every other week for almost 7 months, working on a lot of different things. We do a lot of distance Reiki. And she has just said, like, even physical stuff that she was tight and stuck, she's like immediately better. And Reiki is a spiritual energy. So limitations of time and space just there's no problem there, and it's pretty powerful. And the other thing too I've learned over time is it has nothing to do with me, except me, the practitioner or a teacher, just to open up and listen and let it move through me. And I just listen. I'm like the conduit, but I'm not doing it. It's doing it. And that takes a lot of pressure off too. Because if you think I'm doing it, it's like, well, who am I? I'm just a person here. But the Reiki really moves through, and it's powerful. It's amazing.
Speaking for Monica, Monica is especially gifted because she also brings in her intuitive readings while she's doing the Reiki. So not only are you experiencing the Reiki healing, but also Monica shares little snippets about what she's observing, either about the energy that's moving out or even about your spirit guides that are in the room with you at that moment. So Monica's an awesome find. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you, Ruth.
Monica, as a spiritual being, I think especially because you're so aware spiritually, there's so much learning that's involved in this for us. Can you share with us, what are you currently learning in your spiritual journey?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's just a great comment, Ruth, because I just feel like I'm always learning. It's this constant learning, but it's enjoyable, and I take breaks too. It's not like a laborious path. But what I'm currently learning, big time, I would say, is letting go and acceptance of myself and others, not needing to evaluate people or situations. And people don't need to be fixed. Accepting them as they are, and accepting myself as I am, and that we all are different. We all have different skills. Don't think they need to change for you, me, or just see them as they are. That's kind of what I'm really learning a lot more about these days. And I think a lot of that evaluating I used to do was all around trying to be safe from maybe things I learned growing up, always learning what's around the corner, what's going to try to think that it was like a skill to be safe. But I don't need that anymore, because I'm not surrounded by people like that. So I can let that down and not need to put anyone down or up, and not put myself down either. Like I'm too sensitive, or just like, yeah, I'm very sensitive, but there's nothing wrong with that. And just letting go. It's such a practice, because it's all the time. When you're with people a lot and you have clients regular and you have friends you're meeting with, it's constantly like accepting them. I'm learning how to be like, oh, that's them. That's fine. And make it like it's action. I'm practicing all the time. But if something's crosses the line to where it's rude or mean, I speak up now. And that's important, because I used to not say anything and just feel like, oh, welcome that. And then be really mad later. So just say it in the moment, get it out, and don't hold on to it, let it go, and give them a fresh moment now too, because they're just doing their best too. That's where I'm at right now.
Monica, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, I greatly appreciate your openness and sharing with others things that you have done that helped you as a person and as a spiritual being in your body that might be helpful to others. So thank you for that.
You're welcome, Ruth. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure.
Okay, and we are back, and we're here with Monica, and we're here with Deb Goldberg.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Whoa.
My pleasure.
Oh, that's the live. Okay, I think we're set. I think we're done there. So Monica, I have to ask you. We are back. Hey, Monica, can you turn your sound down?
Thank you so much. Thanks for.
Oh, that's Deb's. Okay, sorry. Monica, how was that watching you? I know you. And I know that you are very self-critical, and I would like you to kick that side of that woman to the curb. But just looking at this beautiful woman sharing so many techniques and strategies to support other people who are going through this. Can you tell me how it feels to watch that woman?
Well, I found it really interesting because when we recorded, I was like, oh, I don't know that I had a lot to say, and then I'm just like, "Da, da, 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 da." But no, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed actually really enjoyed watching it, and um, just giving my heart to people, and being honest being as authentic as I can, because I know a lot of people go through these things. There's so many of us, and I enjoyed it actually watching it. I didn't feel as self-critical as I normally do. So maybe it had a lot to do with you, Ruth.
Well, I was taking notes because I take notes as I'm watching these, and I wrote down at least 12 strategies or techniques. I mean,
Great.
that's really helpful.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad. I hope people could take those away too. And it's interesting sitting here now and with you and Deb and being in this place. I feel good today, and I don't know why I just got a little emotional, but like even I don't know, just feeling good, and it's such a blessing because there's been so many hard things, feelings, and I don't wish it on anyone, but it's just I'm thankful to feel good today, I guess.
Yeah. We'll take that for exactly what you're saying right there. One of the brilliant things that you brought up a couple of times was letting go of limiting beliefs. And I realize that's not just for people that have been through abuse situations. That's for anybody who is in a physical body, because so much happens to us in life on a daily basis that feeds into our construct of self-esteem.
Mhm.
And we do carry around all of these limiting beliefs. Do you have any thoughts on limiting beliefs, and maybe just can you think of just even like one thing in particular that helps you the most when needing to let go of a limiting belief?
Hmm. Yeah, let me just think for a second. Hmm. I think the main thing I do now is I do meditate every day. Um, my husband's a meditation teacher, and I do a lot of his meditations, and they're all about observing your thoughts and your feelings that come up and welcoming them, and um, not trying to push them down or get rid of them, but just say, welcome, you're welcome here, and observe them again like they're on a movie screen out in front of you, and you can just hear them. I'm terrible. I'm not good at that. They're better than me, or kind of comparing, competing, which is unfortunately something we do in this realm a lot. And but that's what I do, is observe, and I give myself permission not to believe the thoughts, because we all have like a gazillion thoughts in a minute, in 10 minutes. And so we can't really, we can't really say any of them are true, like 100% true, right? Because we could think, I don't know, just a gazillion of thoughts, and we can't possibly hang on to every one of them and define ourselves by it. So I kind of just put it out there and say, for me, for example, would be I didn't do enough to help that person, or take over sense of responsibility is definitely something I have to always be aware of. And I just say, that's not true. That's a thought. And that's something you have been very well trained in as a child and just in my life. But that's not true. I'm observing you, I see you, I acknowledge you, and then I try to just talk to that part of me that's usually the younger part. And I just tell that part, we're safe. We've done enough here. And this is now, if it's a friend, we love them, we care, we pray for them. And now this is their journey now, you know? So I observe and I practice not identifying or believing. But it, just for anybody listening, it definitely takes practice. And then if you find yourself believing and identifying and being over responsible, then it's okay. Just say it's okay, forgive myself, and just reset yourself. Resetting's important to do without punishing yourself, but just reset. Oh gosh, I wish I would have done that better. I didn't, but okay, you know.
Yeah. So one of the speakers had said the other day that on a given day, we have 60,000 thoughts going through our brains.
Wow, that's a lot.
Holy cow, we can't possibly hold on to each one and think that they're all fact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's a lot of thoughts.
That's a lot of And then somebody else, one of the other speakers just the other day, Deb, I'm not remembering who it was talking about being overly responsible. Do you remember that, Deb? Just nod your head, yes or no. There we go. Somebody was talking about being overly responsible, feeling the need to be overly responsible for other people in their lives. So that's interesting that two of you just in like 3 days have said that same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strong one. And you know, being very empathic as well, which honestly I think every human being is, quite honestly, because you know, back when there wasn't even language, we had to actually read each other's minds and tune into each other when there wasn't language. I mean, I think everyone's empathic, but having that, knowing that, and having that be pretty developed, which I feel like it is in myself, then it takes that, then you're like, okay, is this mine? Is it theirs? Do I help? Do I do more? It's that empathic part, just learning that what's yours, what's not, in a certain sense of just taking care of your own life, even though I know we're all connected, but there's got to be individual pieces, you know?
Right. So I want to take a little bird walk here. I remember, I guess, I don't know, 3 years ago now, that every once in a while I would see something on the internet, like a little flyer comes in or a little something about Holy Fire Reiki. And each time it just felt so in alignment with me and what I was supposed to do. And then I would go look things up on Holy Fire Reiki, and I wanted to learn everything about it. And then I figured out that you were a Holy Fire Reiki master teacher. And because folks, I knew Monica ahead of time, I checked her out and studied Holy Fire Reiki with her. But what I am thinking about now was that when I received those initial flyers, that it spoke so strongly to me. I'm getting goosebumps saying that. It spoke so strongly to my soul of, pay attention. This is what we want you to do. And it doesn't mean we want you to do it right now, but sometime this is going to be important to you. And I wasn't really attuned to spirit or the whispers of spirit at that time, but I knew that I was feeling this visceral need to connect with Holy Fire Reiki. Does spirit ever talk to you through a visceral feeling, or when you get an email or, you know, a blurb on something, you go, yep, that's for me. I need to check that out.
Yes, definitely. I have had that happen many times. And, you know, in this moment, I can't think of a time specifically right now, but many times, or it'll just, you're like, yes, I need to meet that person. I go do it. It's just like a no-brainer. It's just like, I'm done, I'm going, and I go do it. And then there's something about it most times that I'm like, whether it's like a healing experience, or it was for them too, and both of us, or it was an actual thing to do in this world, it's always so exciting, because it's like, oh, we're all connected. We're not alone here. It's beautiful. I love when that happens. And I thought it was so amazing when Ruth, we knew each other through a singing school I used to own, and you were a part of it in a certain way too, but we never connected at that ever. And our kids went to some of the same classes, acting and stuff too, and we never really connected. And then one day I saw you on Facebook, and that's when I was on Facebook. I get a little overwhelmed with a lot of information. So, but I was like, oh my God, that's Ruth. That's Ruth from the acting school. And then I see you did the same clairvoyant classes, and then you want to do Reiki. And I was like, it was just so fun. Yeah, I've definitely had that happen. It's so fun. I love when that happens.
Just kind of like coming home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, just even like when Kevin, my husband, said, because he's been doing Reiki for over 20 years, and I just wasn't there with it. And we've been together for 25. And then one day he just said, do you, and my friend Rebecca, who's on this with you too, and our friend Evelyn, said, do you guys want to take Reiki? We're all like, yes. And it was just like fast. And I love when that happens. You're like, I don't know, let me think about it. But it was so, yeah, I want that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I would say for anybody who isn't familiar with Reiki, I would definitely check it out. And you had said yourself there, it feels like it's right in alignment with Christ consciousness for me. It's just very connected there, very divine, very high vibrational frequency, energetic healing.
Oh yeah. That's how I feel. That's my experience. And, I grew up Christian, Catholic, then Christian, and then had a lot of religious, unfortunate trauma with religion. However, I've never lost my connection to what I feel when I pray. I've always been very passionate and pray all the time. Like, I don't know if people saw me in my car, they're like, this woman is crazy. But I don't know, it's like a communication thing. But Jesus, I've always felt very connected to. And I see Jesus in my mind's eye a lot of times in Reiki, and I'll hear from him and say, it's very telepathically. It's not like how I hear you right now, but it's a very audible, this person needs this, they're going through this. And like, yeah, I'm just grateful for that connection. It's wonderful.
Well, and not only that, but I think Reiki is interesting because I know when I have done Reiki, I've had Divine Mother pop in. I've had Archangel Michael come in. I've had other healing angels come in. So it's very, very connected to spiritual divinity.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it's very inclusive. And that's one thing I just love about it. And I definitely was drawn to it. It feels perfect for me. And I know it feels that way for you too, but it's very inclusive and everyone's welcome and nobody's left out. Anybody that wants to do that. And I love that about any spiritual practice, person, religion. I love the inclusivity and not needing to be different or better or higher or lower. Just however you pick your religion is just fine. I just believe we're all trying to find this love, peace, liberation, connection, and however we find it is great. Reiki's very inclusive. I love that.
Yeah, I agree. So let's take a minute. Let's hear from Deb Goldberg if we've got friends with us over in the Facebook group today. Can't hear you, Deb. Hang on. There we go.
Can you hear me now? Okay. What a great interview. I'm just so excited listening to all of this and resonate so much with everything you're saying, Monica.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Dido Dido?
Dido.
Sorry, I have a problem with English, obviously. She says, I'd like to say that I've just taken the Holy Fire Reiki training with Monica, and it was so beautiful. I even got a poem that downloaded, never had that before. The whole experience was so rich and powerful, and her teenager son also loved his Reiki training. And Ivana says it sounds wonderful and would love to know more as well. And Dido also says, for both of us, our main issue has been not feeling overwhelmed by others as we are out and about. It's very difficult if you don't understand energy or how to work with it. So I'm sure that your class really helped her a lot. Let me go back here because Sue is on, Sue Seacock, and she says, thank you, Monica, for sharing your view of the healing process. It is lovely. The steps you shared were simply laid out and very accurate. Could you write them up in an article sometime when you have a few minutes? Because there's been quite a few other people on here that agree and would love to see an article written up with those tools in it.
That's where we post it too, on Enlightened World Online. So
yeah.
already got a home, Monica.
Yeah, I can do that, you guys. Just the steps on the healing process.
Yeah.
The ones that you were talking about in your interview.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Ivana says you are a sensitive soul. Thank you for sharing your light.
Thank you, Ivana.
And Denise is on, and she says you and Ruth are beautiful and gifted, and with love from Denise Marie. Salima is on, and she says you are beautiful and lovely. And she was referring back to when you were talking about how when other people don't see you and that you're not feeling love from other people. She says that even though no one sees you, that you're loved, she said, I try to honor herself with that love. And you have such a positive attitude in your healing. And I really, I just want to say, I know what it's like to go back and talk about all of those things from childhood. And I just think it was beautiful to share your journey with us and being vulnerable, because it helps so many other people, because like we talked about, abuse is not the only trauma that people endure. And so those tools can be used for any kind of trauma. So I really honor you and all the things that you're beautiful light. And I'm just so happy to meet you.
Thank you, Deb. I feel the same about you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. But there's a lot of comments on here, so you probably want to go and look. Well, I don't know. You can't look on Facebook, or I don't know.
I can use my husband's. I was on Facebook for a long time, and I love the whole seeing what people are doing, and I love supporting people, and I actually do like it. But honestly, it's hard for me to stop doing it. Like I get kind of addicted to it. And so I had to kind of be like, and then just the overwhelming, I got a little overwhelmed with the information. I think it's a great platform, but I can go on my husband's, through my husband's and look on there. And yeah, once I have a little bit more self-discipline, maybe I'll get back on there.
Yeah, because there's so much love on here and I know people would love to hear back from you.
Okay, thank you. I'll go on there. Thanks, Deb. So nice to meet you.
Yes, it's lovely to meet you.
So Monica, I just have to tell you, there is such a need for someone like you to come out and share. I mean, I'll give you my notes if you don't want to listen back to the whole interview, but there is such a need for someone to come out and put in writing, how do I incorporate spirituality plus easy to follow techniques, steps to work on self-healing? there's such a need. And honestly, between you and I, we've done this five sessions,
Yes.
and there's such a wealth of information that you've put out, and there's a need for it to be put out in writing, because not everybody watches videos or knows how to find it.
Yeah.
So if you have it in you, I would so appreciate that, and we can do whatever we can to put it wherever we can, so it's seen and acknowledged.
Okay. So Ruth and Deb, you're saying, so the tools on the healing process and steps, and how do I incorporate spirituality into the healing process and into just day-to-day life,
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
I wrote it down, and I can write something up for other people, because it is nice. I'm actually one of those people that likes to have, paper and pen and just write it, see it, and then just kind of have it in my vision. So I understand that. Yes, no, I will do that.
Yeah. I think it could really touch a lot of hearts. I really do.
Okay, yes. Yes. And one thing I want to share, just make sure for anyone listening, is, when I said earlier, I feel good today, I love when that happens. And it, even though I do feel like I've moved past a lot, and for other people too, is there's certain things, even like last week, that triggered that in me, and it triggers it, and it brings up fear, not feeling safe in the world, paranoia, all kinds of things. And then I get scared, and then I work with my tools, but I observe them, and I say we're safe. And I do go to, I went to my therapist. I haven't seen in a long time, but something real strong has come up with a dear friend, and I'm, working with when's enough, how much is enough. And it triggered a lot. What she's going through triggered a lot for me. And I just said, okay, it's scary, but this is also another opportunity to heal deeper. Because then when it's not maybe as triggered as much, maybe that'll be a sign, oh, wow, that didn't trigger me this time. Or, so just for people to know that it could happen your whole life, but it gets easier. Yeah, because sometimes, when you see people on magazines or on a video, or, you think, oh, they've got everything's perfect for them. Well, I'm just telling people I guess it's perfect in a spiritual sense, but it's like, I definitely get triggered and get afraid and stuff. So then I have to just be like, we're okay. Everything's fine. We're not back there. And, you have to do your little talk to yourself.
Yeah. But that's part of the human experience.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yes.
But you're being mindful about it, and you're recognizing that that's what it is, and saying, okay, let's get a hold of this. Let's get this under control. And so if that means talking to a therapist, or talking to a friend, or going back and starting journaling again, or whatever it is. But you and I talked about the healing being like a spiral.
Yep.
So yeah, so you got down to another level of the spiral. So congratulations. There's another opportunity to, yay, another opportunity to grow and continue stepping further into your strength and power. Seriously, congratulations. I know it's painful and hard to go through it.
Yeah.
But it's exciting. You're not stuck. You're growing and really blossoming.
Thank you. Thanks, Ruth. That's so sweet. Thank you.
So, Monica, I love you. You know that I love you dearly.
I love you too.
And I'm so proud of you. This was a beautiful video, and our time together this morning was awesome. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And you did great, Ruth. You're such a wonderful interviewer, and you make me feel really comfortable, and you have such wonderful questions, and it really makes it enjoyable. So thank you too. And Deb too. Deb is just lovely.
Thank you.
Deb is lovely. That's why we keep her around. All right. So Monica, stay on with us here, and we're going to say goodbye to our friends over on Facebook. Much love to all of you out there today. Go have a fabulous day, and we will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is day 27 of our summit, and we are featuring Elena Ivana tomorrow. And it's 9 o'clock in the morning Mountain Time tomorrow. So be with us here on Facebook Live. So thank you, everybody. Have an awesome day.